Hello and welcome to Top Sim. I am William Lebowski, and today we have some GT3 racing to go over. It has been a while since the last upload, and it's mainly because I've been focusing on some racing itself, some league racing, some endurance racing in the Global Endurance Series, and so I've just kind of been taking the time to really focus on racing and practicing for different series. This is a GT3 series that has pretty much gone on during the amount of time since my last upload. It was a 6-week, 6-race series. Weekly GT3 series in rF 2. If you're interested in joining for the next season of it, or joining for any of the other series that happen on the server with the group, check the description below. You'll find a link to the Discord server, some great stuff. But I really just kind of wanted to highlight and show some of my worst racing ever. Unfortunately, this month or so of racing hasn't really gone my way. There's been a handful of problems that have been both kind of bad luck, and the other, I will openly and freely admit that the other part of it has been my poor driving. There's been a little bit of skill issues at different points, and you'll see that throughout the two races that I picked to represent kind of what I have experienced thus far. So this first race is kind of a bad example, or a good example of bad luck. You saw right off the start, I either had the option of rear-ending someone or getting a penalty. I figured it's best not to ruin anybody else's day, and so I took the penalty. Here we are at the end of the first lap, going to serve it. It was a stop-and-go penalty, and I thought it was a drive-through. So I drive through, go right past my pit box, and unfortunately that doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't take away my penalty, so I've just added a drive-through to myself. And here we can see that I'm about to make a huge mistake. I hit the wrong button on my button box, and I switched my camera view, and so now I have just a complete lost car, and damage racks up. I find myself stopped on the track. I still have this penalty to serve, so I'm trying to think about, is this over? I don't back out yet. I will limp my way back to pit road with this broken car. But unfortunately, there is some more bad luck in the pits coming ahead, because I do not serve the stop-and-go penalty and do the repairs in the same stop. I tried to finagle myself back and forth in the pit box to try to see if we can serve both of them in the same stop. It just wasn't going to happen. And then coming back to now be already, a lap or two down, 2 or 3 laps down, because I forget this is our second time in the pit lane within 5 minutes of the race being started. So we're down, 2-3 laps. There's no way that this is gonna be solved here. So I realize we're gonna have to take the DNF. Especially at such a narrow, tight track like this, there's no sense in being a back marker for last place for 55 minutes, because I'm not going to be able to get any racing done. That was out of the points. This was a fairly large race. I believe I saw 18 people on the roster. And here we have our second race. The start a little bit botched as well. Again, cars in front of me backing up, and then we can see there's a BMW that goes flying up the middle, takes advantage of their momentum. At the end of the field, we go cut through the grass. This race is going to be an example of poor skill that I've displayed, which really, kind of breaks my heart to have to upload to the channel. It just, it is what it is, though. Great track. I had never actually even heard of this track. This is most raceway, most speed, most. It's in the Czech Republic, fantastic course. I love the corners. I love the windingness. I love the high speed. I love that turn 1 with the giant bump. This was just a fantastic track. I was a little bit upset that I couldn't hold pace as well as I could, shoulda, woulda, wanted to have. And unfortunately, we gave this guy a punt. He's able to hold it on, though, but it did send a little bit of a bad omen to our race, a little bit of front-end damage. Not only that, like I said, I do make mistakes throughout this race, so we're going to spin a couple times, and that's really going to hurt our placement Here we're outside of the top 10 as this is going on, and really, quite frankly, I think I'm running a little bit deeper than my skills provide, and I don't necessarily just mean in this one race, but I think I might be stretching myself a little bit thin as far as the different events that I tried to do this month. I tried to get as much racing in as I could, and unfortunately, it kind of resulted in this place where I didn't necessarily have time to laser focus in on one event specifically, and so I think that ended up really biting me. For this race that we're watching right now in particular, I put in a good amount of practice work, and I really improved my pace from where I started the practice sessions at, and so I thought that I was going to have a relatively good time at this race. I didn't think that I was going to get caught out very much, and I didn't think that I would be so far off pace as I was, and so it was real shocking just to realize how much more practice was needed to be done in order to pull off, a decent result. And so seeing that made me really realize how much more I could be squeezing out of the rag if I were to focus on one thing. And for a really long time, I've always heard the advice of, just stick to one thing, do that really well, and then really try to grind up that that series, that whatever it is you're doing, that type of racing that you're doing in that one specific car. And that's actually probably the point where I might be in terms of my, racing career, I guess we could put it. Just a quick sidebar. Here is a pretty big accident that happens in front of me. I should have backed off a little bit earlier. It gave us some damage. It wasn't actually enough damage that made me need to pit instantly. You can see we moved ourselves up to 6th place, but it did have a bit of an impact on what we were doing, and I think I felt it a little bit through the corners necessarily, and I'm sure it slowed us down in top end speed. And I'm trying to remember specifically if this was a cause for more damage or the reason why we would have to pit and go down in positions so early. But yeah, I think just to now jump back to the close the sidebar, I do think it's at the point where I kind of really do have to focus in on what I'm doing specifically, and I think I would put that focus on number one, the Global Endurance Series, of course, and then number 2, there are some fun series and events that are happening. Yeah, there we go. More damage, but it was a skill thing, not because of the previous damage. But so yeah, I think I need to dial in what I'm doing, and also it doesn't help that it was coming at a pretty full and eventful and kind of like stressful time, just in day-to-day life too. So I'm trying not to be terribly hard on myself or anything like that. But that's where I'm at. I do appreciate you guys for sticking around. It's been, I was hoping to have a whole lot more content, race content that was actually much better for the channel instead of this video showing off my poor driving skills. But anyway, I appreciate you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one, and I promise it'll be a much better video.